kind of.
Hi, mommies. Welcome back. It is Tuesday. It was Pride in WeHo over the weekend. So much fun, but glad to be back here with my girl, Meredith Lynch. Today on the show, we got lots to talk about. We are going to talk about the late surge in LA votes, which has brought Nithya Raman into the general election, pushing out Spencer Pratt. But now Trump and his cronies, what are we going to call them? Trump and his ilk are calling on election fraud, so we're going to talk about what that looks like. Then Gwyneth Paltrow says she's an independent, and the internet is wincing, I'm going to say. Plus, Ariana Grande is back. She's going on tour. I want to talk about that. I'm a big Ariana fan. But apparently she and Ethan Slater have broken up, so we're going to talk about that too. And then later on in the show, Representative Adam Smith of Washington is going to pop by to talk about what the fuck is going on in Iran, because I actually truly cannot keep up at this point, and he's on the Armed Services Committee, and so he's gonna tell us what's going on, because a lot of back and forth has happened on the weekend. So let's start in LA.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. I know the internet. Oh boy, were the bots out for us.
I can tell you right now, I'm not one of those people who always says, "Oh my God, it's the bots." That was the bots.
That was the bots.
We had so many bots who started like telling us that our clips about Spencer, when Spencer was actually in the lead, we recorded with Jess Craven, and she was like, "Listen, the one thing I know about LA elections is like if you think you know the results, you really don't. So let's just wait it out." And then people were so triggered by those comments.
Well, let's talk about why, because I felt like, so we watched this happen in real time as we were watching the news happen, and it all kind of made sense to me. And I think that's what we do well on the show, is like analyze the world and the internet and the news source. So if you missed it, Spencer, this is not where your book begins. The rest is not unwritten. Thank you very much. Ba-dum-bum. Over the weekend, Nithya Raman surged ahead with late votes to beat him out for the second spot in November in the general mayoral election. So it will be Nithya Raman versus incumbent Karen Bass come November. And meanwhile, what has come out of that because of this late surge is election fraud calls. So specifically, Trump went on Meet the Press with Kristen Welker over the weekend for a sweeping interview. They were in Wisconsin, and they talked about Iran. They talked about all sorts of things. But it abruptly ended when Kristen Welker brought up, actually what she brought up was the January 6th fund.
Right. She was talking about really 2020.
Yes.
Like she wasn't talking about.
She was talking about the January 6th
anti-weaponization
Todd Blanche.
$1.8 billion fund.
Exactly,
Yes.
because Todd Blanche is now being nominated to be the full-time attorney general. And what came out of that was a conversation about election fraud, and then it turned to California. So let's play that clip and then talk about how this is playing out here and what it means for the midterms. Vienna.
It's appropriate that they have an election, and 5 days later, they're nowhere close to picking a
State
winner.
and local officials acknowledge they are slow. They're urging.
No, they're crooked.
They're urging the votes to be counted quickly. That's how they vote
They're
in
crooked,
California.
just like you're crooked. Your press is crooked, and Meet the Press is crooked.
To be fair, I'm not crooked, but let's
Really?
let's
Well, you
continue.
play right into their hands. then.
Let's continue.
You're either crooked or you're stupid.
Let's
you play
continue.
right into their hands with this rap. You know that these elections are rigged. Your network knows that they're rigged. You know that I won an election in a landslide, and I got 94.
Okay. You guys get the point. Let's take
Your
it down.
network.
Tell me about why he'd make a great vice principal.
Because the vice principal was always such a piece of shit. Like you know what I mean? They were always like trying to get you in trouble.
Yeah,
maybe
totally.
this is just me.
No,
I don't know.
We were both troublemakers. Yeah.
Well, guess what? My vice principal is like I think not almost in prison now. Yeah. Turns out he was I'm not gonna say. You know what? I'm not even gonna make my joke.
Right. Okay.
But here's the deal. The thing that I find really hard about this, which like I just think this is like kindergarten stuff, is like it can't be that every time that you lose there's fraud, but anytime you win, there's no
There's
fraud.
magical.
So here's my thought. I was thinking about this morning. I'm like, well, if we were able to pull election fraud so easily, don't you think we would have tried to win the House? We would have tried to win the Senate. We would have tried to win the presidency.
Well, all those things, but also wouldn't we just have wouldn't they, whoever the magic they is, just have swept Karen Bass into office?
Yes,
Right?
but like he does think
And-
it's us. Just
Yes,
so we're
yeah,
clear.
yeah, yeah.
Like
he
I
thinks
mean,
it's me
not-
and you and Kristen Wilker
Right.
and
Yes.
Adam Smith who's
Right.
about to
It's
come
like-
on. It's going to be like
basically anybody who is not part of his sort of like world is the opposition.
that, and I mean, like, also Steve Hilton is still in second in the governor race, so it's
Yeah, like we would have had Tom. Although God, the Tom Steyer,
I know.
Javier.
Well, let's talk
Becerra.
about that in a second, but let's stay on this for just
Okay,
one second
okay.
because I feel like a couple of things. One, I do think the California voting system is a really big problem. It leaves such a
God, she's
vacuum.
sounding like Billy Bush. Next thing you know, she's going to be driving to the vote center. I saw him. He's at the vote center.
Well, but that's great. That's great, actually.
Should we go?
Yes. Yeah, no, I actually literally was thinking about this because it actually is very transparent. Like, you can go there, constituents can go there, voters can go there. They do a really thorough job, but they are slow. They don't have enough machines. They don't have enough money in it. And like a lot of things in California politics, I'm sorry, like it is just like ineffective, and it didn't used to matter this way. But now that there's this vacuum, you know what else I was thinking? I actually haven't seen that much from Spencer Pratt, and it's possible that it's just like not in my algorithm. But I was thinking about this interesting landscape where you have a guy who had a reality TV show contract as he's running for governor. Don't you think he probably has a vested interest in continuing chaos here,
Oh, for
even if he
sure.
didn't win?
For
Like, what an
sure.
interesting
right.
add to the layers of chaos
Right.
in our election that you have people who have a vested interest in plot and story and narrative, and I'm sure he's going to pursue it in that way.
Yeah.
Although I haven't seen him out there that much, but have you?
Well, he does have me blocked, so
That's
that's
right.
actually
Maybe he has me blocked now. Maybe that's why I haven't seen it.
he might.
Yeah.
But I think I did put out an SOS the other day and was like, "Hey guys, can you please?" This was when Ramen had like just started to edge him
Yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah.
I was like, "Can I please see what he's posting?" And so people were sending it to me. He was in a Catholic church.
Is he Catholic?
No, he's not Catholic. In fact, he was saved on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. He was baptized by one of the Baldwin brothers. I know. So
What?
Thank you. So anyway, by the way, I just feel like all of a sudden a lot of these people are cosplaying my religion.
Oh, for
and
sure.
like we'll get into the Gwyneth
Gwyneth
Paltrow
Paltrow,
and
yeah.
that person, and I'm just sort of like
I know Catholics, like JD Vance started something. Catholics are hot right now.
oh my God.
This is like when I wanted to go to Catholic school in high school.
Well, you would have been great there.
Yeah.
But here's the deal. He was at a Catholic church. He had thrown himself in front of St. Jude, who I bet he thought was Jesus, the patron saint of lost causes.
Wait, really?
Yes, I don't think he knew. Okay.
That is so funny. The patron saint of lost causes.
Yes.
I love the Catholics for this. They have the kookiest saints.
Listen,
I think I might be the patron saint of lost causes.
girl, you and me both. But I just found it to be like, I actually think it's a little disrespectful.
Yes,
to,
sorry,
and
it
also
is.
to like he was clearly doing this like for show, and I'm like,
Yes.
this is our sacred spaces.
Yeah, that's
Um,
a beautiful church,
Isn't it? I
It's
know.
beautiful. Where is
I
it?
know.
Santa
I think
Barbara?
this is the one in downtown. I think it's sort of in downtown Los Angeles. Maybe Vienna can tell us in the chat. But I've actually never been to this
beautiful,
one. I was like, I
yeah.
should go. Listen, if there's one thing we are good at, we're
churches.
good at being cunty.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah. Wow.
But I also don't want to deny somebody the opportunity to walk into a sacred space and have a moment of
Sure.
levity.
Yeah.
But when I feel like it's probably because you're filming a reality show, etc. So anyway, all of this to say, I do think he's going to obviously call fraud. It's going to get really
They all are,
contentious.
yeah.
But I'm just sort of like, you guys, if we were going to play fraud, I don't think we would do it with the LA mayor's race.
Yeah, I mean, like, I couldn't agree more. We wouldn't do it the LA's mayor's race. We wouldn't do it this way. Like, it wouldn't be, like, now Karen Bass has a real run for her money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's a million reasons why it wouldn't work out this way. But I do really worry. Like, I feel frustrated and, like, I don't know. I don't have solutions exactly, but it is frustrating. California is bad at this sort of bureaucracy. This
Yeah.
is like consistently a
Especially
problem.
after living in Massachusetts, I do see the difference. Oh, by the way, somebody commented and they're like, I was so mad at you, Meredith, when you said you were voting for Karen Bass. And I want to clarify something here. First of all, who people vote for that are involved in the show, like that's their own business and nobody needs to say it. When I said I did vote for Nithya Raman, what I meant was that if it came down at the time, it seemed like it was going to come down to Karen Bass and Spencer Pratt. And I was like, well, I'm going to vote for Karen Bass. I didn't but then once it started to really ramp up, I was like, well, I should vote for Nithya Raman. And so I also think like that's one of these things that has become like this new thing of like people getting mad at people for voting for the other candidate. And my whole comment section is people getting mad at you for voting for Becerra, mad at you for voting for Starr. I voted for Chad Bianco.
I wrote in Jill Stein. We were talking about this yesterday, actually, and like I actually think people are so addicted to like the team sport and contentiousness of elections that even when it's like, hey, we generally want the same thing, you know, it becomes like I can't even feel myself doing it. Or it's like, and like let's stop moralizing one another. I do really worry about November in California. And I think another reason why I think that voting is messy in California is the ballots are crazy here.
Because they're so long?
They're so long. They're so convoluted. You know, like everybody's on the ballot. I feel like I used to go in New York and Massachusetts, the other places that I'd vote, and I'd kind of like know what was happening. Whereas like when I go, I love voting in person, but I have to like look at my phone and be like, open book.
That's why it is sort of easier sometimes to vote from home
well,
because
that's why
you
people,
really can
exactly.
like
that's what I think is like so many people, because the ballot is so complicated and so convoluted, wait until the last minute, they do it at home with an open book, go through and do it and put it in. And anyways, I think it's a disaster. And I think, I don't know, this is something
But that also gets back to what Jess Craven was saying when people, so one of the things is like, oh, isn't it surprising that all of a sudden the votes are for Nithya Raman? And it's like a lot of people held on to their ballots who were progressives because they weren't sure between Steyer and Becerra. And so I like talked to so many people who were like, I just can't decide. And that was holding them back. It had nothing to do with the LA mayor's
100%.
race.
Yes. It's a whole big ballot.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I also think that people didn't realize, self-included, that it was a jungle primary until we got here, which means that like everybody, regardless of party, is on the ballot at the same time. And it's like a hierarchy.
Right. That's
It's
how
the
we had
top two.
Barack Obama. Shaw. I made a joke about that online. Then I was like, there's like 4 people that get this joke, but I don't care.
I'm one of them.
Like, you guys, there was someone named Barack Obama Shaw, and I did read about him. He changed his name in 2013.
To Barack Obama?
To Barack Obama Shaw.
Wait, to Barack Obama Shaw or
yeah.
to Barack Obama?
I think it's Barack Obama Shaw.
Okay.
So he changed his name to that because he was just like, I just love Obama. Like, he just like brought so much hope and so much like change. I think he's former military. He's like, I just love him. And so like, in a way, I was kind of like, dude, go off, King.
Cosplay.
Like, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, if you're just like inspired by somebody, I mean, it's not always like, it doesn't always seem fair that like we don't get to pick our names.
Yeah, that's right. Do you think Gwyneth Paltrow is going to change her name to Barack Obama?
Never. I think Gwyneth Paltrow loves her name, and it is. I actually think it's a very pretty
It's
name.
a beautiful name.
But I do think that she is. She's dipping her toe into interesting waters here because,
Pray tell more.
over the weekend comes this podcast clip of her saying, my husband thinks I'm a Republican, but I'm more of a centrist. I'm more of an independent. So let's get one thing really clear. Centrist and independent are not the same thing at all.
Centrist and independent are not the same thing at all. That's it. I think they could be the same depending on like.
I think if you think they're the same, I think
Yeah.
someone is an independent does not mean being an independent does not mean that you like sort of 50-50 align with both parties.
Yes. Yeah.
Being an independent is, I don't know. I just don't think
I
that's.
think being an independent when you are wealthy like Gwyneth Paltrow is just a freaking cop out.
Yeah,
I think it's saying
totally.
I don't, like everybody. I'm not the first person to make this comparison, but like, do you remember in White Lotus the Leslie Bibb character?
Yes, totally.
Where she says, "I'm an independent,"
right?
And she smiles. Vienna's pulling it up, yeah. And this very specific
also,
smile is like blonde white women who I think they use the word independent as cover for not talking about the toxic parts of the podcast. But I think what's more, well, I want to
let me just finish on this.
Yeah.
Like, I think Hassan could identify as an independent.
100%.
And so that's why I mean,
Yes.
like, when someone says they're an independent, I think it's like, if you say you're a centrist and then you say I'm an independent, I'm like, well, no, you're a centrist.
Yes.
And you're probably more Republican.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's what I think.
Yes.
But what's interesting to me about this podcast, and I think I was the first person to actually
This is what I was going to ask you to explain, because I actually thought this was really interesting.
I think I was the first person to really point this out, because this clip was going viral and I thought, it's kind of interesting, whatever. So let me double click. And of course, I find out that this clip is from a conversation that she had with a man named Trey Stevens. And Trey Stevens is and I want to get this right, he is the co-founder of Andrel Industries, which is a Palantir. I always pronounce this wrong.
I know.
Palantir-esque AI defense contractor. He has a close relationship with Peter Thiel. He's one of the founding members of Peter Thiel's venture capital firm. And they have this sweeping conversation that sort of alludes to, like, AI defense weapons without actually having it. And one of the things she says is, she's like, well, I'm having these podcasts this year because I want to have conversations with people that I disagree with. But nowhere in the conversation does she actually disagree. And that's where I'm like, well, you got to give some of these other people credit, because, whether they're Republican, whether they're more conservative or more liberal, they have people on and they bring up things that they don't agree on.
Right.
But she doesn't at all. She's like, so what made you go to Georgetown? Like, who the fuck is I'm sorry.
No one gives a shit why Trey Stevens went to Georgetown.
And then also too, first of all, he's like, well, they're Jesuits, and like, I don't really, he's kind of like dogging on the way that in which, because he's not Catholic. And that was the other piece of this that I found to be really interesting. At one point in it, he's like, he was the one who was actually bringing up the tougher stuff.
Yeah.
And he also he worked for the Trump administration. She doesn't ask him really anything about that. But at one point, he talks about how recently the Pope said that the war in Iran is not a just war. And he's like, that kind of hit me, because it makes me think about, like, where do I fall in all of this? And
only now you're considering this, your AI defense company.
And also,
like,
too, guess what? You're not a Catholic. So I guess you can also separate it that way if you need to. But he was like, where do I fall in this? And she was like, well, like, I think when he said that, like, maybe it was more of like a mystical thing that he was saying. Like, not so much like the war in Iran is bad, but more like mystically. And he's like, oh, I like that. And I'm like, I know, just like Spencer, there's nothing I love more than two non-Catholics telling everybody what I think that Pope Leo
said, yeah, let's not do war.
He's been very clear about how he feels about these unjust wars.
Yeah.
And I think it's like, actually, here's what I think is happening though on a bigger scale. Gwyneth Paltrow's audience is more MAHA than MAGA. MAHA.
Cindy McCain, right? That's her name. Right? Cindy
John
McCain.
McCain's
John
ex-wife,
McCain's daughter.
Or not ex-wife, sorry, Megan.
Yeah, Meghan McCain. Thank you. Sorry, I don't know why I said Cindy McCain. Okay, Meghan McCain tweeted about this. She was like, Gwyneth has always been MAHA. Like, come over to our side after seeing this clip. Like, it was very dog whistle.
I don't know that she's always been MAHA. I think, like, she has elements of MAHA. And so I think that's, like, she doesn't have RFK Jr. on her podcast in 2026.
She might.
She might. But what I'm saying is, I wanna like really look at the facts here. She, though, has a MAHA-coded audience.
For sure.
And that means that they know, MAGA knows that MAHA is rapidly slipping away because they are not happy with the Trump administration. No. So one way to try to get them back is to try to say, like, hey, guys, here's why the war in Iran is important. Here's why AI data centers and AI defense mechanisms are important. They're important because otherwise your children are not safe. That is a big thing.
It's all about, that's right, exactly. MAHA is all about, they don't want wars because they worry about their children going to war.
Right.
And then if you flip it and you're like, well, you got to get on board with AI and wars because it's good for your children.
Right.
Then it's
and
like,
that's a big part of this conversation, actually, is about him being like, oh, we got to be safe. We have to be. And so anyway, it's the whole thing is a big old mess. But speaking of a big old mess, Ariana Grande and Ethan Slater have parted ways. I'm not surprised. Like, I mean, like, I
think that, Vienna and I were talking about this before we came on, is like, we were all like, didn't we already know this? Didn't we already know this?
I thought Dumois said, like, maybe like 5 months ago that they were still together. And I do trust Dumois. But 5 months ago, like, doesn't, whatever. But
I just felt like on the Wicked Tour 2 was so different than the Wicked Tour 1. Yeah. Like, you could just feel, I think she's had a breakup with Cynthia Erivo too.
Well, here's the deal with Wicked, though. They had to keep those two kind of separated because people were never okay with this relationship,
Yeah.
like no matter what. And so anyway, I remember people thinking when they first broke up, this was a little while ago, people were like, Lily J, that's the ex-wife,
yeah.
don't take him back. I'm like, trust me, the girl is not taking him back.
Lily J, like, she wrote a brilliant article in New York Magazine. She's a very talented therapist. Like,
she is in like a weird AI startup now, though.
Really?
Yeah, like an AI, like parenting app.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
Come
But
on,
listen,
Lily
she
J.
needs to get that money. I get it.
Yeah, I
I'm
guess
sure.
so, yeah.
Like, I mean, Ethan Slater probably does well, but like, he's not that. Like,
I also think that he peaked. How many more like blockbuster musicals are coming out that are going to feature Ethan Slater?
how many more times can he like play the role of SpongeBob?
That's what I'm
Like,
saying.
yeah.
Exactly. It's like he's only, got so many left in him. She's also back on tour. Just over the weekend, she started her tour, and I love Ariana. I think
We know. You're an Ariana
I'm an
nader.
Ariana nader. I think that she's so talented. I think she's smart. I think she's funny. I think she's I think she's a generational talent. And I also, this is like a trigger warning, and like I know that this is like a hard conversation on the internet, but I'm so genuinely worried. Like, she looks sick. And I don't think she owes it to her audiences to not be sick, but I think that it's hard not to make the Karen
If we don't
Carpenter.
acknowledge it, if we don't
Yeah.
acknowledge what's happening here, I think it's actually really harmful for, younger girls to not know that, like, hey, that's actually probably not.
And to like, I know
Healthy.
this is really dark, but to like prepare ourselves. Like, I look at her and I'm like, Karen, we have, history repeats itself, and Karen Carpenter like had the most beautiful voice, was this like angelic singer, and tragically died of an eating disorder. And like, we've seen it happen before, and she just like, it is glaring. And I don't know what else
Can I just say though, like
Yeah.
this morning I wake up and I'm being hit with body shaming comments from a Gen X woman.
Oh, who else would you get body shaming
But
comments
here's
from?
the thing. These are the same women who then are like, I'm so concerned for young girls, the way they speak to each other. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you guys set the tone.
Yeah.
And also Ariana is, she's not a she's
not
like
a
what,
te-
30s? Early 30s?
I think she's early 30s. I also think I feel she's clearly ill. You know what I mean? Like, that's what sucks, is like, I think that people are like, she's making a choice or she's a bad influence, and that is like, this is a woman who's clearly struggling with something serious. But let's move on to a different topic, because we have with us today Representative Adam Smith. He represents the 9th District in Washington State since 1997, seen a lot of things happen, and he serves on the House Armed Services Committee as the ranking member, which I'm really excited about, because I genuinely do not understand what is happening in Iran right now. I don't think Trump really understands what's happening in Iran, but maybe Representative Adam Smith does. So we bring him to the stage. Hello, good morning.
Hello. Good morning. How are you?
Well, nice to see you.
Good to see you as well. Thanks for having me on. And yes, I do understand what's going on in Iran, and there's a whole lot of different layers to it. But the simplest way to look at it is President Trump is basically a bully. It's the way he's done business his whole life and the way he's done politics. He sees a situation. He's like, I'm going to take that and I'm going to bully and belittle my opposition until they cave, they break, and they give me what I want. And after Venezuela, when he took out Maduro, he assumed that that's what would happen in Iran. He thought a 4 to 6 week bombing campaign in Iran will break. Either their regime will completely collapse and new folks will come in, or the people who are there will be so frightened of Trump that they'll just do what he wants. And what he wants is no nuclear program, no support for terrorism, no ballistic missile program. Trump assumed that was going to happen. Now, everyone who's looked at this situation for the last 15 years would have told him that's not going to happen.
Right.
Iran's not going to break like that. They
right.
are religious extremists. They are on, quite literally, a mission from God. All they have to do is survive and inflict pain. So all that happened, and now Trump's stuck, because his normal play of coming in and punching the other person in the face and getting what he wants isn't going to work. And bizarrely, he keeps coming out every day saying it's going to work. Today is the day. Today is the day that Iran has agreed to everything. So the serious part of this is we need to just end this war. It's not going to be a great outcome. Iran's not going to 100% give up their nuclear program. At the end of the day, at this point, there has to be some sanctions relief in exchange for Iran opening up the strait. But this war is spreading. We saw Iran and Israel attack each other. The war in Lebanon is out of control. The war in Gaza continues. The Houthis are now involved. And the second layer to this that I want people to understand is this goes beyond just Trump. There's this growing opinion amongst too many people. You've heard the phrase, all they understand is strength.
Mm-hmm.
I say that all the time, as if the only way to solve a problem is to dominate whoever you're disagreeing with. And that is so incredibly dangerous, not just on the global stage, but in our communities. You have to compromise. Okay. You have to accept that there are deals that can be made that aren't just about you being stronger than the other person so that you can break them. I'm really worried about what this says for our society and what it says for the world. We got to find a way to get along, and we're different. People disagree. You know, you're going to have to learn how to get along with people. And I think Trump is taking us radically in the other direction.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny you say that because I'm going to get to a question about Iran. But here in California right now, the amount of people who are fighting about Javier Becerra versus Tom Steyer and sort of watching that play out and thinking, you know, at the end of the day, we're kind of on the same team here, guys. And so it's not surprising that something like this could happen. But my question for you, though, is I think that one of the things that Trump has done a okayish job, not his best job, but an okayish job, is activating his fan base to think that the war in Iran is necessary for the safety of the United States. So if you were talking to a Trump voter right now who's going, God, my gas prices are so high, but I don't want my kids to get blown up at school, and that's what could happen, what would you say to them with some of the intelligence that you know?
Sure. I mean, that gets back to the issue that I'm talking about. You want to eliminate all threats, okay? You want to make sure you're completely peaceful and secure. That's not the way the world works, okay? I'm not going to tell you that Iran will never be a threat. I'm telling you, you have to manage threats. This is sort of like the mistaken Godfather way of looking at the world. You know, the line about today we settle all family business, which means I take care of all of my enemies, all of my adversaries, and everything's fine. That's not the way the world works. You can manage and live with threats. Don't fantasize about eliminating them. Number one. Number two, Iran has been a problem for 47 years. And despite all of the overheated rhetoric about, oh, we've been at war with Iran for 47 years, it's been awful, we've survived it. We've survived.
That's what I always think. Like,
we've managed the problem. Iran has been flirting with a nuclear weapon for 26 years now. Every single president to date has managed to stop them from getting that weapon without going to war. There are ways to manage that problem without blowing everything up. In fact, I would submit that going to war increases the risk. It doesn't decrease it because
couldn't agree
makes
more.
Iran think that we are existentially threatening them, that they've got no hope of survival, that their only choice is to ramp up. And that's why this whole mentality of strength on strength thing, there's no end to it. Each side just keeps escalating. So I would say we can end the war with Iran and you can be safe. Iran is not going to launch a nuclear weapon at the US. They don't even have one yet.
I was going to say, yeah, they can't reach us. Yeah.
So, so you can imagine threats. And it's funny. I went through this anxiety thing. And part of it is sort of managing that. And I think part of the problem I had when I was going through the anxiety is the same thing. Mentally, I'm going to solve every problem. Okay, I'm going to get to the point where I've got nothing to worry about.
Yeah, been there, buddy. I know what that's like.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
You're going to have stuff to worry about. So you better figure out how to manage it.
Yeah.
And we've just stumbled into the idea that, we can somehow, eliminate all threats. So I would say you're going to be fine. We do not have to eliminate Iran in order for us to have security.
I want to ask you about Trump's relationship with Netanyahu, because that feels so key to this. It's like there's reporting from the New York Times that he was literally in the Situation Room when this decision was made. He's been asking the United States to go to war with Iran since, the 90s, I guess. But over the past weekend, we've started to see this like weird volleying back and forth between them where Trump, said to the Financial Times, I believe, Netanyahu doesn't have any choice. Like, I'm the bigger man. And then Netanyahu was like, hold my beer, and then sends a missile attack. And then Trump.
That's a good summary, actually.
Right? Isn't that basic? And then Trump gets on Truth Social and he said, I call the shots. Like, these two, forgive me, like losers going back and forth. But can you tell us, from the inside where we are with Israel? I feel like there's such a bizarro relationship here that is both pushing us forward and breaking us down at the same time. So yeah, go
We're
ahead.
in a very bad place with Israel. And it's because of Netanyahu. And worse, it's because Netanyahu has allowed the most extreme elements of Israeli society a staggering amount of power.
Yeah.
Israel is in real trouble because of that. I mentioned the philosophy earlier that's so problematic of kill all your enemies. That's Netanyahu's philosophy. I was on a counterterrorism panel with him 20 years ago in Israel. And his philosophy was Iran is the head of the snake. They must be eliminated or we will never be at peace. And his philosophy is, again, he believes that he can essentially eliminate all of his enemies. That's never going to work. And even within Israeli history, you can see examples of this. Israel is now at peace with Jordan and Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't for decades. They fought multiple wars. But Israel never eliminated Egypt. They didn't eliminate Jordan. They found partners for peace. Yes, they fought, and I will defend Israel. They've been attacked by Hamas. They've been attacked by Hezbollah. They've been attacked by the Houthis in Iran. You do have to defend yourself, but then you have to find partners for peace. And that's what they did with Egypt and Jordan. And it's what Netanyahu absolutely refuses to do. The worst thing that he did that led to this for the 15 years before October 7th, he undermined every reasonable Palestinian alternative because he didn't want a reasonable Palestinian alternative. He wanted to say to the world, we can't deal with them. They are a threat that has to be confronted. If he had worked with partners, same in Lebanon. The Lebanese people don't like Hezbollah. The Lebanese government is desperate for an alternative. Mm-hmm. You keep fighting that war, you create more enemies, and you don't get to peace. As for the dynamic between Trump and Netanyahu, I can't say it any better than you did. We got two massive egos at play here.
Yeah.
Who's the bigger, tougher, stronger man? And meanwhile, the wars go on and people suffer while they're having their little macho man on, who's the real alpha male in this room. I don't give a damn who the real alpha male is in this room. I want peace.
Yeah.
One of the things that we saw happen a couple of weeks ago is Representative Thomas Massie lost his primary. And I think I'm kind of wondering even though the midterms are soon, the presidential election is not that far away. And if people like Thomas Massie, who to me feel a bit more reasonable and are willing to stand up against parts of MAGA, are getting booted, what is the temperature right now in the Trump administration in MAGA? Do you think he's looking at JD Vance to be his successor? Is he looking to Marco Rubio? What do you think we have in store after these midterms are over?
Look, the Trump cult is a major, major problem. And to be honest with you, I don't think Trump's looking at a successor whatsoever because no one can succeed Trump. It's about him. It's always been about him. And it'll be about him until the day he dies. I guarantee you that as successors emerge, he'll criticize all of them. Okay. Yep. He will say that none of them are good enough. So I don't think it's about that. It's more about what happened with the conservative movement, the Republican Party, how they became a Trump cult. Whatever Trump says they agree with, no matter how nonsensical. And he has been able to exercise this power. The Massie primary, but I always say that the canary in the coal mine was Mark Sanford. Now, people may not remember Mark Sanford. He was the member of Congress. Then he got elected governor of South Carolina. You will remember him from the affair that he famously had with, I think.
That's what I was going to say. Olivia Nuzzi had an affair with him. Yeah. I was like, wait, I do know this name, but for the wrong reasons.
Exactly. The whole hiking the Appalachian Trail thing. That's what he claimed he was when he was off in Argentina having an affair. So anyway, he got ran out of being governor of South Carolina, but he got elected to Congress again. And when he was in Congress, he was kind of a reasonable person. He criticized Trump. And in 2018, he had an early primary down in South Carolina, and he had criticized Trump, and Trump targeted him and beat him. And at that moment, every Republican was like, we can't stand up to this guy.
Yeah.
And so cult-like, they just followed Trump blindly, and that it's getting hard to get reasonable people because of that. And also, this is a problem, I think, in politics in general. We go the cult route because it's easier than thinking. Yeah. I don't know if you all remember Rush Limbaugh.
Amen.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I remember way back in the early 90s, I was campaigning. I hadn't heard much about Rush Limbaugh, and I'm going door to door, and I hear this guy listening to Rush Limbaugh. And Limbaugh described his followers as ditto heads. Do you remember that? Okay, literally. And they were proud of it. And what they meant was, Rush speaks. I agree.
Yeah.
Did it.
Wow.
And they were proud of it because it was like, it's just so much simpler than having to reason your way through a problem to just go, all hail.
Mm-hmm.
And Trump grabbed that feeling. And now people follow him blindly because it's easier than thinking. And how do we break this? I don't know, because the Republican Party seems sucked into it. And they're afraid of Trump politically, and he keeps making more and more erratic decisions.
Well, speaking of breaking, I do want to say this. You were pretty early in asking Joe Biden to step down when he was running for re-election. I think you called for it on July 8th and of 2024, obviously. But I guess my question for you then is, first of all, it kind of proves that like that is one thing that the Democratic Party occasionally can do, is they can break with the leader and say, hey, you need to step down. But right now, Jill Biden is out and about. She's on a book tour. She's, occasionally alluding to things about Joe Biden.
More than alluding.
Okay, well,
I think.
all right, fine. I'm trying to give her some grace. But I guess our question is like, do you think Jill Biden being out there in 2026 is helpful for the Democratic Party, or is it hurting us and bringing back us to this, what I would argue is a painful chapter?
Yeah. The only thing that I want to hear from Jill Biden is an apology. Period. Full stop. I don't give a damn about anything else she has to say at this point.
Good luck with that.
Really, yeah, I know. So no, it's not helpful. Look, fixing the Democratic Party, rebuilding a reasonable coalition is my great passion in life. We have three problems with this. One is that centrist neoliberal policies didn't work economically. We got too many people being left behind. We need more economic populism. Two, the left's response to that sometimes got a little far out there culturally and on a whole bunch of other issues, defund the police, open borders, different things out there that have been said. So, but the third is Joe Biden. Okay. The idea that Joe Biden was ever going to be a credible candidate for president in 2024 is simply absurd. Okay. And behind the scenes, I was working to say, hey, come on, we should get somebody else. But nobody else stepped forward. Biden kept moving, and it undermined the credibility of the Democratic Party because we've got a guy who very clearly is in decline, very clearly cannot speak clearly. Jon Stewart had a great take on this right after the debate that I can't improve upon, so I won't try. But we should have never nominated him. Should have never allowed him to run for as long as he did, because he very clearly wasn't up to the task. I think we're better off now moving forward, because Joe Biden's the past. The economic issues that I just talked about, that's what we should be talking about. But we should also acknowledge as a party that we're not going to let that happen again. We know it was wrong. We know we made a mistake. We know we didn't step up. And mostly it's similar to the Trump thing. All right. And I had people tell you can't say anything. You can't say anything. I don't care past a certain point. People will come after me. That's fine. It's just too important. So I hope we will learn that lesson. But no, it's not helpful to have Jill Biden out there trying to rehash the whole thing.
Speaking of the midterms, before we let you go, something that we've been seeing in California and on a national level now is Republicans are starting to call election fraud. They're playing the game of election fraud already. We saw Trump walk out with Kristen Welker over the weekend when she was questioning him about the January 6th fund. Going into the midterms, how do we start to combat this now? Like it already feels like it's heating up before November. What are you looking at? I guess specifically in your state, because we can only speak to where we are.
Sure. Three basic steps. I mean, first of all, and I've been saying this since Trump was running last year, we have to acknowledge that what Trump wants is an authoritarian takeover of our government. Yeah. And I could walk through all the different examples, what he's done with the Justice Department, what he's done with ICE and DHS, what he's done with the FCC, the pressure he's put on the media. He wants an authoritarian takeover, and he wants to try to manipulate elections. So basically, heads I win, tails you lose. It's only a fair election if I win. Yeah. And I cannot imagine anything that Trump wouldn't do if he thought he could get away with it. So be aware of that. Don't think that this is hyperbolic. Oh, you've got Trump derangement syndrome. He's said enough. He's put his name on enough things. He's built enough art and everything. I mean, as I've said, he's done stuff that would have made Mussolini blush. So there is no question that that's what he wants. And going after elections is a key. So number one, acknowledge that. Number two, directly confront this particular problem to make sure that we have the legal team in place And we have gotten some favorable court rulings about people can't, the DHS folks can't be in polling stations,
Right.
And go election by election by election and make sure that we are protecting the integrity of it. And then the third thing is turn people out. Okay. The bigger the numbers, if it's less likely that they'll try to block an election if the candidate won by 4 or 5 percentage points.
Too big to rig.
Right.
Yeah. So we got to get turnout. We got to win. We lost a seat in 2000 by 6 votes in Iowa.
Wow. That's wild.
If we have an election somewhere where we're up, say, 150 votes, that will give the Republicans a much bigger opening to try and block the legitimate outcome of that election. So those are the 3 things that we have to do. And it is scary. If you told me 20 years ago we'd be having this conversation, I would have said you were crazy.
Yep.
This is America. It's a democracy. We all know that. That is under threat in a very profound way that we must acknowledge, confront, and fight back for.
Well, Representative Adam Smith, I will tell you this before we let you go. You are the second member of Congress to come on here and really quote The Godfather so eloquently. You were preceded by only Senator Ed Markey, who also did it. But I think we're going to have to do a mashup of the two of them quoting The Godfather. Thank you so much for joining us today.
For being here.
Thank you. Appreciate the chance.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
That was really informative.
I know. I feel like I learned so much.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like, I interview and I'm like, oh, I'm trying to get information for our audience. But this was one where I was like, say more,
I know. And he broke it down really simply.
Yeah.
Not simply, but like really easily. Like, here are the 3 things. And I think that last piece was so interesting about the elections with like, okay, first of all, just like know that this is the reality.
Yeah.
The next step is.
He always tells you what he's going to do.
Right.
Like everybody's like, I don't know if he's going to do it. And it's like Trump looks you in the eye and is like, this is my plan. And people were like, he's messing
But
with
I also
you.
think like back to the conversation we had with Jess Craven, which I thought was so interesting, is like she was like, oh yeah, like people showed up in like pretty decent numbers here in LA for this election and they were voting towards the end. So it's like that's the other piece of this where he was like, people need to show up.
People
and
need
it's
to
like,
show
people did
up.
kind of seem to show up.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll just have to maybe we should go to the vote center. Where is it?
I was trying to look it up. I think there's a bunch of them. I was trying to look it up. That's a good
I wonder
point.
where Billy Bush is going.
I don't know, but I saw Jacob Soboroff go. Like, you definitely can go. And you know what? Republicans they do a lot of like signature checking. Like, they do a lot of making sure that the ballots are actually legitimate.
I know. I was like, Mike, please, like, don't sign like,
X.
Mike thinks he's signing like he's on the New York Knicks. The way my husband signs things, I'm like, okay, what are you, a pharmacist?
a big old X. Okay, is Mike having a moment for you? What's having a moment?
Oh gosh, okay, you know what might be having a moment for me?
Pray tell.
I just heard this on the radio because I listen to the radio.
Rush Limbaugh. Are you a ditto head?
No. I'm listening. The funniest thing is, like, if you listen to the radio, it's still like, hey, it's Romeo needs to know. We're checking in this morning. Where are you going? I'm driving to work, Romeo.
Now,
like,
the new mix from Ariana Grande. Yeah.
But guess who is going on tour, or at least having a concert?
Who?
Jay-Z.
Oh,
It's the 30th anniversary of Reasonable Doubt.
Oh.
And the tickets go on sale. I think on Thursday is the pre-sale, and then Friday is the actual.
So you're going?
I think I might go.
Really?
Oh, I'm a Jay-Z fan.
You're a Jay-Z fan.
Oh, I'm a Jay-Z fan. Oh, like, oh my God, like the Blueprint, Reasonable Doubt. Like, I'm a Jay-Z fan.
Okay.
Yeah, and
okay.
so I might go, but I also think it's a sign that you're not getting a Beyonce album.
That is exactly where my brain went. I was like, if you don't
Sorry.
know, I have been out here. I was like, May 29th, we're about to get the drop. I was out here like, you know, the Charlie Day meme from Always
that's
Sunny.
you, yeah.
Like, that was me being like, and she did this, that, and the other. And May 29th came and went, and there was no album. And you're 100% right. Beyonce's not dropping the album until at least after the midterms. It's going to be like, remember, I forget her name, but the woman who covers the Vatican, who was
Colleen
like
Dooley.
Colleen Dooley, who told us the Pope won't come during an election year. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize that. Maybe Beyonce doesn't drop albums in an election year.
Wait, also, you know what's having a moment for me? First of all, Cole Escola was so funny.
That was going to be my
Jesus
moment.
fucking Christ.
Sorry.
Abuse.
Sorry. That was going to be my moment.
Okay, never mind. Go ahead.
No. You do it.
Let
You
her
do it. That's
cook.
good. We can. We spend a lot of time together.
No, there's no HR for me to call. You go ahead. You go ahead, my friend.
No. I love Escola so much. Vienna, I didn't send you a picture, but if we could pull
Gabby
up,
in the booth is nodding.
is not. Yeah, Escola. Every time they show up to an award show, just like so nail the outfit. They came as like They look like they were out of like Sweet Magnolia. You know, like a Southern 70s woman with like her hair done.
Yes.
Somebody asked them, like, who do you wish was the next O'Mary? And they said, everybody who wants to be O'Mary is going to get the chance to be O'Mary. Just stay in line. If you are waiting to be O'Mary, stay in line. And I love Escola. Yes. It's so good.
That's so funny that was your moment.
I
felt that was too obvious for you because it's so Rebecca coded.
It's right. Exactly. It's like, what else was it gonna be?
Well, you guys, this has been so much fun. We will be back on Friday with Rep Takano.
I'm so excited. Explain what this is.
Okay, so you guys, this is like a hot button issue here. I mean, like, it actually shouldn't be a hot button issue in California because we actually have laws around it.
Yeah.
But basically, Rep Takano is a representative here in California. But one of the reasons we're having him on is because he has brought up a bill that would create a federal ruling for content creators who are being paid specifically by campaigns needing to disclose. Doesn't mean that you can't get money from a campaign, but you need to disclose. In California, you do have to disclose already. That's already something. But I think this would make it actually. So this is what I was thinking about was like this will make it so interesting for more MAGA places.
100%.
Like it's one thing for California, but there's a lot more money flowing through the Republican Party.
Sure.
And so anyway, really excited to talk to him about that. I think it's going to be a super interesting conversation.
I think it is like there are some things that you see happen where you're like, oh, this is fundamentally degrading our society. I think putting this federal regulation in now will be fundamentally protecting us from future degradation.
It's also going to like protect people like me who like I get accused all the time.
Yes.
I've never taken money from a candidate.
Can attest to that.
Even though I've been offered. But I don't. And then my comments, my DMs are filled with people being like, just because I, made a video saying, oh, Tom Steyer has private equity money in these places. They're like, well, you're being paid by Becerra. I'm like, no, I'm not.
Especially as we just see the degradation of journalism, like having these things in place so that creators, independent media, like can build that trust with their audience and have regulations around it. I'm so
not
excited
saying that someone can't it's not for me to take money from a candidate. I've decided, but I'm not saying that you can't take money from a candidate as long as you disclose. Like, and then you're also like figuring out where you fit in this world. And 100%. I actually think it's just going to open up the conversation.
Couldn't agree more.
For creators to actually get more respect.
100%.
All right, you guys, we will be back.
See you Friday,
on
babes.
Friday. Mwah, mwah. Bye.